So my words for today's video are advice I found myself giving someone yesterday, which was even if you don't have money to invest, even if you don't have resources to give to others, you do have your time. And you can invest this in others. And one of the clearest ways to see that is a family structure. By investing into your kids can then take care of you later on. Another example of this is investing into mentoring people. When you I coach high school wrestling because when I go back and I coach and I have to specifically tell them how I hit my moves, I'm like, hey man, why aren't you getting this? Like, it's this. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I just do it. And having to like articulate that, and then he tries it and then it doesn't work. I'm like, okay, well, there has to be something to this. So then he tries it. I come up with something else. I'm like, I think this is the crucial part of why that move works. And he hits it and it doesn't work. I'm like, it makes you really think about it. And then you go back and you like, well, if you add this to it and he hits it and it works, and you're like, so that's why the move works. And like, teaching makes you so much better at understanding the concepts yourself. And that's one of the ways, like, there's so many examples out there of how you can invest in others, how you can mentor others, how really no matter where you are in life, like, there's other people at stages behind where you're at, and you can reach out and mentor them. You can guide them, and like, you can invest in people. So consider this next time you find yourself scrolling on your phone, or next time you find yourself checking your screen time and wondering, how did I spend 4 hours on Instagram or something like that, and realize that is time you could be investing in others. You could be helping others. You could be helping, if you have a family, you could be helping your family. If you don't have a family, you could be either starting one, you could be repairing the bonds of your family, you could be helping a friend who needs help. And it's kind of like this thing of carrying the torch. And when you have people with similar goals to you and similar beliefs, you help them. Well, an example of this is my brother. Like, he has taught me so much. He's taught me so many invaluable lessons. And then later on, because we all go through stages of like being high energy, being like conscious, being aware, and then stuff happens, we get sick and stresses build up, and then we become low energy, we become like stressed out, and we forget these more insightful ideas we have, which is part of the reason I have this channel, is to remind myself of these ideas so I can reference them and kind of like even help my own self by investing my time here. But it's like with him, and by forming a team, investing in them, you're giving people like a flame, you're giving them like a fire that they can carry. And you will, at points in time, like, they will reignite you. You will have strayed, you will have like gone off from the ideal that you believe in, and they will be there to help you and to remind you and to reignite that fire within you. And analogy I like for this is like, imagine you're someone trying to carry up a torch to the top of this mountain, and the mountain's extremely windy. Wouldn't it be easier to like have a couple guys, and then if one of your torches get blown out, you can just ignite their torch, and then if your torch gets blown out, he can ignite yours. And it's kind of like this goal that you can move towards and invest in others. And when you share the values that you have, when you share the principles and the things you've come to understand, other people will, at points in time, remind you of those principles, remind you of those values that you've taught them when you strayed from them. And yeah, I mean, we all have time that we're not like utilizing to the utmost. We all have things where like, well, I have nothing to do right now, and you're tired. Like, that's a lot of what happens, is you're exhausted and you have nothing to do. You can socialize. for many people, it ignites them, it gives them energy, it helps them get out of their head, helps them see issues from other perspectives. And by helping others, you really wind up like, it's basically like building up karma is another way to think of it. Like, by putting out and helping other people, you're putting up good karma. That karma comes back to you. Like, you see these cycles when you can detach and kind of like look at the picture and see how like events have gone through not just days but like over years and months, like how the good deeds you've done have come back to help you, how things that you thought were like, oh my god, that was a horrible experience for me, like they come out to be some of the best that you've had. Like, I don't know, I try to see the positive in most events. I got kicked out of a frat back in college because the head of security, his girlfriend fancied me. So he just made up some crap and kicked me out. I was like, man, this like sucks. I wasn't like actually part of the frat. I was like rushing or pledging or something. But like looking back, I'm like, thank God I did that. Like literally, I would have had such a different college experience. I would have like just been, I probably would have tried like cocaine or something. Like there's being the sum of the people you're around. And for some reason, when I was rushing or hanging out with them, I thought it was a good idea. I thought like this was fun, but literally getting kicked out, it sucked. Like, you just like show up to the party one time and they're like, hey man, you can't come in, you have to leave. And this is in front of like 3 or 4 other of your friends that you've made at that place, and it's embarrassing. Like wait, what? They're like, yeah, you can't be here, and it sucks. It feels isolating. But looking back on it, I'm like, thank God I didn't do it. Like, the amount of time that I would have wasted, the amount of time, like, just the different course my life would have gone down if I'd joined it. Like, instead, I came out with a lot better friends. And I know, like, there's people in college, and I have a friend whose sister, like, she was complaining that she doesn't have any friends. I'm like, well, what does she do? It's like, she hangs out with her, the girls that she goes to, like, the frat parties with. I'm like, those aren't friends. Like, those are just people that you like doing drugs with, and like, there's a deeper connection to it. There's the ability to sit in silence with someone and like just enjoy their presence, the ability to have intellectual conversations with other people and talk about your life goals and how you think it's going to play out in your worries, and like actually get into deep matters. And if you can't do that with people, like, if that's not even like something that you want to do with that person, why are you investing in them? Like, I don't know, a lot of people are too afraid and too caught up in what they're doing to realize there's another way to go about it, a better solution, or a more optimal way. It's like the guy who it's like what's a good example of this? The guy too busy shoveling dirt that he doesn't even know the, like an no. Oh, what's the tool? This giant, let's just call it Bobcat. You know, like, it's a giant bucket. I'm drawing a blank here, but it's like a lot of people are so busy, caught up in the work they're doing, that they don't realize there's better and more efficient ways of going about it, because they would have to just take a rest. They'd have to stop doing the work they're currently doing in order to even realize it. And so many people are caught up in the minutia of what they're doing to actually have awareness, have time to think. So I'm gonna leave you with that. Like, make sure you have time for awareness. And I talk about this in so many of my videos. Like, you need space to have new thoughts. You need to go to new environments to have new thoughts. When you stay in the same environments, the same items in those environments trigger the same thoughts, which trigger the same outcomes, and the same behaviors, which trigger the same outcomes, which has created your environment. So it's like a self-looping thing, and you have to remove yourself from that loop, see other things. Literally, traveling was one of the most beneficial things I've done all year. Like going to Europe, it doesn't even have to be Europe. Like just go someplace. If you have a car, like you can just live in your car. I bought like a $20 air mattress that could plug into a USB lighter, and I just camped out in a minivan in LA for a week with up on like what was it called? Beverly Hills, like in that neighborhood. I found this beautiful site that was under construction, and I parked my car next to it, and I had an unobstructed view of the whole valley every night. That's what I woke up to in the morning. And like, there's so many beliefs people have of why they can't do something. It's like, you can just go out, you can explore. Like if you have a car, you have the means to see so much of the world, yet you limit yourself on your weekends to your house. Like, how many national parks are within 8 miles of you? Within like 8 miles, you can go a long distance. If you combine that over 2 days, you can go to about half the country. Like, especially if you're in the US. If you're in a different country that's smaller, you can go to another country. You can just go visit. Like, changing up your routines, even if you have really good ones established, putting yourself in new environments allows you to better understand how you function, how you behave, the thoughts going through your head, and you can see the thought patterns that you embody even more. So, create space for awareness.